This morning, I was watching a couple YouTube videos on how to read the great or the greatest literary works of all time. And then I dove right into reading our business plan. And to understand me is to understand what is tattooed on the back of my mind: the soldier's creed, American warrior's ethos. I had to memorize every line of it and shout it out on demand perfectly. 100% perfectly on demand. Hundreds of times. And the thing that I like the most about it is the part where I had to shout out at the top of my lungs in a masculine voice, I am an expert and I am a professional. In this spirit, I need your help to build an equation-ish, a non-proportional statement, which is what all of mathematics is built off of, proportional statements, which I think is a limiting factor in science, from Einstein's mass, energy, gene equivalence equation, E equals mc squared. Energy stored up inside something, specifically an atom, is equal to its mass times the speed of light squared. There are already 20 exceptions to that are noted. You can go online and be like, it doesn't work in here, it doesn't work, it doesn't apply to that, it doesn't apply to this. I mean, it's almost like, well, what the heck does it apply to? Specifically splitting an atom. Okay, great. Well, why are we worshiping it? Does it help cure cancer? Does it help us with deep space exploration? Yeah, it's a beautiful artifact that had an important place way back in time, and 300 years before that, Newton came up with some proportional statements, equations, but we're in 2020, baby. We're in the future. We don't have to be, celebrating the intellectual achievements of people that didn't have the internet, didn't watch the moon landings, didn't have peer-to-peer peer review. We can do our own thing. Force equals mass times acceleration. The goal is to build a paradoxically proportional statement from force, E with little plus sign brackets around it, 1, E with 8 dots around it, 1, a multifactorial expression that can simultaneously equal nothing or 1. And we need to create a new rule in mathematics where 1 and 0 in this scenario does not make an invalid statement or does not make the equation-ish, for lack of a better word, invalid. So how do we get to this, to force equals mass times acceleration? I don't have all the answers. I need your help. I need the power of peer-to-peer peer review on my side. The most powerful person in the room is the room itself. Something Einstein, Newton, and Darwin would have killed to have what we have in our time period. And just to make sure this video goes on forever and ever and ever, I was thinking about, I visited, I think 80 or 100 countries, 193 countries in the world. And so I've been to the United Arab Emirates, and I was thinking about the Burj Khalifa and how it's the tallest building in the world right now. And I was thinking about my friend Paul Robinson and how it would be really cool if we helped Donald Trump and the Trump family build hotels that orbited around the world and basically just trumped everything on Earth. And I'm really looking forward to getting done with this reading of the 100 pages so far, so I can start getting into competitor analysis and market analysis. I watched 2 or 3, generally 3, but 2 or 3 YouTube videos. I try to choose ones that are 3 to 5 minutes on something like competitor analysis, business plan. If you want anybody to take your business seriously, this is an extreme statement, but it's generally true. This sounds so crazy, and it is, but in the past, I would buy like shell companies for real estate holdings, and from Boardwalk Entertainment to Visiting Valentine's to military products to Enter American. And I would spend like $700 or $1,500 on these corporations. And literally none of them had a solid working business plan that helped create high-paying jobs, that could help a business be sustainable over the time and make a profit. And I think back in time and I think, my God, shame on myself for not taking myself seriously, for not doing what it takes, coming up with business plans, putting my heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into the business plan, trying to make the business plan work, coming up with a plan, sticking to the plan, working the plan until I get the result. That's kind of like any diet plan works if you actually did it. The same concept should hold true with business. So it's like, here's the plan to cross the billionaire mark and then eventually become a multi-billionaire and then have a realistic shot at, trying to make ourselves the perfect candidate to be the world's first trillionaire. And I kind of view it like a diet plan. It's like each one of the 50,000 diet plans work if you just stuck to the damn plan. So trying to remind myself of that, memorize every last aspect and detail of what it is I'm working on. And I'll just leave with this thought, because people are like, well, how do you pull off one of the greatest achievements of all time? Here's how. Holding the holy trio of human thought processing constant, keeping in mind, as people like Tony Robbins say, our brain and our brains working together are servo mechanisms. They serve us. And how do they do that? Well, there's an interplay between one, power of suggestion, what we power of suggestion each other about, confirmation bias, and pattern match recognition, or cognition. And remember, cognition, the act of thinking, is actually shorthand for pattern match recognition. And there's this idea in psychology that there's no point where we're not matching patterns. Like the ability to actually think itself is like 80-90% matching patterns. And then the other 10 to 20% is confirmation bias and power of suggestion. And the other like half of 1% is priming. What did you write down 200 times in a row and say out loud 200 times in a row, like the Soldier's Creed or the first letter of the Khmer alphabet? And then that basically gets tattooed in your brain. And then once that happens, you got these other three things taking effect: confirmation bias, pattern match recognition, power of suggestion. So I need your help to come up with my plan, like a good diet plan, but a good plan to become a multi-billionaire and have a shot at becoming the world's first trillionaire. And I need your help in sticking to the plan, like a good diet plan, to get the result. Thank you very much.